But we'll go ahead and get started here. Hopefully, everybody's had a great week and everything is going well in everybody's life. If it's not, take this word and it'll be good. But one of these things here, Growing Divine Ministries, where we teach people how to grow, change, and produce in everyday life. That's what we truly believe. So hopefully every time you come here, you get something out of this and you can walk away with something to live on for that week. And as we walk through life, a lot of things that we would never do in life if there wasn't a reason to or a cause to. And the reason I say that is because if we go to the grocery store, it's usually because we need groceries. You know, if we go to the gas station, it's usually because we need gas in our vehicle. So it's usually something that pushes us to where we need to be or something that we need to do in life. And so the things of God are the same way. See, it was a lot of great men and women in the Bible, and everything they had was a cause. See, what makes your life way more simpler is when you have a cause. See, if not, you just wander through life aimlessly if you don't have a cause that you have to complete. But when we really look at it, man, Abraham had a cause. Daniel had a cause when he was in the lion's den. Jonah had a cause when he had to go in the belly of the whale to get where he needed to be. David had a cause. Jesus had a cause. Everyone has a cause in life and something that they need to accomplish. And that's what helps us stay on track with what we're trying to do. If not, we're just aimless. We don't know what to do. We're just everywhere. And that's what happens when you don't know what your true cause is. Some people call it purpose. And I'm going to sow in the scripture today. Look at this. And this is the title of the message. Is there not a cause? Is there not a cause? If we just take this title right here and we look at the world, is there not a cause? When we truly look at the world and the things that are going on, isn't there a cause out there to do something, to stand up for something, to be in tune with something? There's a cause. And so I'm going to show you through this scripture, but I'm going to study and we're going to come out of the scripture. And I love David. And I do say I love David. And this is the reason why I love David also, is because he had a little dirt to him. Just being honest, he had a little dirt. He was a little bit of a goon, and he was a little bit of a bad guy sometimes. And it's easier for me to identify sometimes with David than it is for Christ. Because we do want somebody that has a little blemish on them a little bit, that we can be like, hey, man, I can hold this over your head because you were jacked up just like I'm jacked up. So we're one and the same. And so David is going down to meet his brothers. His dad sent him to give them some food because they were fighting a war or attempting to fight a war. It didn't look like it was going really well for him. So Jesse sent David to go and to meet his brothers and to bring them some goodies. And so this is where we pick up at over in 1 Samuel 17 and verse 26. And this is what it says. Then David spoke to the men who stood by him, saying, what shall be done for the man who kills this Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? So David is inquiring about what happens if this giant disappears. If somebody takes out this man, what is going to happen to this guy? And so this is what for who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? So they're saying, who is this heathen? What's going to happen if somebody dismantles this giant? Because we all know who Goliath was. He was a giant. Everybody was scared of Goliath and what he stood for and what he represented. So nobody wanted to touch this guy. But David, supposed to be a little bit of a smaller guy, is saying, what happens if somebody takes care of business here? What happens? And so if you read before these verses, they said, hey, man, whatever man dismantles the giant, first off, he gets my daughter in marriage. So you get to marry the king's daughter. So you marry a princess. So I guess that makes you a prince. So you're going to turn into a prince. And also, your family doesn't pay taxes ever. And this is what was issued out to all the men who were standing out there. I might have took that bet. I said, man, I ain't never got to pay taxes again. He say, hey, I want some of that action. You say, man, that's a life-changing event. Never have to pay taxes again. That's what they're saying, man. You never pay taxes again. That's what David is inquiring about. But David was so passionate about this because he's not even kind of worried about the money at this point, but he's also saying, who is this that he should defy the armies of God? He's saying, who is standing in the way of our God? Has anyone ever been that passionate when somebody says something bad about your God that you like that? Who is this fool? You better get out of my face talking about our God like that. You're defying my God? So that's what David is truly and essentially saying in this time. And look what verse 27 says. And the people answered in the manner saying, so shall it be done for the man who kills him. So he's saying, yeah, anybody who does this, they're going to be tax-free and they get to marry a daughter. So Saul was king, and somebody gets to take the hand of the daughter. Now look who jumps in. Now Eliab, his oldest brother, heard when he spoke to the men, and Eliab's anger was aroused against David. So Eliab is the oldest brother. He was actually the one when Samuel went to anoint them. He tried to anoint Eliab, and he wasn't the guy that was supposed to be anointed. So Eliab is upset. And he says, why did you come down here, and with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? Isn't that amazing? So now your oldest brother, you're down there just asking a couple questions because everybody's punking out. Nobody wants to fight this giant. You just kind of inquiring. And now your brother is belittling you, asking, man, where are those few sheep that you have? Go take care of your business. Don't be down here in grown folks' business. We heard that before, man. You meddling grown folks' business. He's like, but y'all ain't acting grown. Y'all over here running from this guy. I'm trying to see why y'all running. Y'all told me don't punk out, but y'all are doing this at this time. So I'm just trying to ask a few questions here. And he belittles them. And then look what Eliab says. So one thing that we have to take away from this also is that your brothers and your sisters usually know you. Your brothers and your sisters. So I'm not discrediting what Eliab is saying in this point, because usually they know you and they can see you better than you can see yourself. Because sometimes we can't recognize us, but other people can see us better than we can see ourselves. We don't want to admit that because we're our own enemy when it comes to that. No, I didn't do that. You're like, yes, you did, man. Yeah, you cussed 3 times. No, I didn't cuss. No, I heard you. But, we're we can't see ourselves sometimes. And this is what his brother said. I know your pride and insolence of your heart. And I'm going to speak on this in a little while. For you have come down here to see the battle. Essentially is what he's saying. You just coming down here to make fun of us and tell us what we ain't taking care of. That's what they thought about him. That's what they thought. And David said, what have I done now? I'm trying to do the right thing this time. I'm being serious this time. I'm not trying to mess y'all over and do the wrong thing. He said, what have I done now? And this is where we're at. And this is the title of my sermon. Is there not a cause? See, David was actually down there to help him. It wasn't like he was down there just messing around to see, oh man, I'm gonna mess around and just give these guys a hard time. There was truly a cause that needed to be taken care of. And none of the mighty men of Israel were willing to take care of this cause. None of them were. They were all sitting there, and they were saying that the scripture says, and I don't know if this is a little after this or it was a little before, they were saying Goliath was out there for 40 days and 40 nights challenging somebody to come out, and nobody would do it. 40 days and 40 nights, somebody's buffeting at you and giving you a hard time, and you still don't get up enough courage to say or do something. That means you might be serving the wrong God if you gonna let somebody do that to you for that long. You're like, Lord, you tell me what to do, because they're challenging your authority, not just mine. Now they're challenging you. They were talking about their God and everything, how weak their God was, how weak they were, and how their God wasn't going to come through. They were challenging a lot of things on a lot of different levels. And so, they was talking about their mama. If he's going to talk about your God and all that other stuff, he threw some mama jokes in there too. He had to. You would have. You're like, yeah, and your mama too. Usually that'll at least make somebody fight. You talk about their mama, they at least come run out there. But these guys ain't come out there. So they went back and forth with David. So this is what happened. David said, look, man, finally, I'm going to go out here and fight. Y'all won't do it. I'm going to go ahead and fight. And so we'll skip over that. But this is where it picks up again. And this is what I'm going to touch on a little bit also. It says, but David said to Saul, your servant used to keep his father's sheep. So what they were telling David is like, look, you're too young. You can't handle this right now. But he's telling them why he can handle this. Now he's giving them his resume now. This is why he's qualified for this job. See, now he's going to give him the resume. He say, look, man, your servant used to keep your father's sheep. And when the lion or the bear came and took the lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and struck it. Who fought a lion before? Who fought a bear before? Do we see this? Do we see this? And I delivered the lamb from his mouth, and when it arose again, against me, I caught it by its beard and struck it and killed it. Lord have mercy. So let's just be real. Why didn't nobody know about this? Because if that's me, I'm going to tell everybody. Everybody in the city should have knew that he fought a lion. They should have known Dave fought a lion. But I guess he's saying, man, look, it was just what I was doing to protect my sheep. It was just my cause at that time to take care of them. And he didn't go tell nobody about it. He kept it to himself. Imagine we'd have did that, man. You'd have hoped somebody was filming at that time. Yeah, you'd have said, wait a minute, lights, camera, action. I'm going to war. Just really think about that. And nobody knew this. So he had to explain this to him, what he was doing out there in the wilderness protecting these sheep. Nobody knew about these things, these exploits. And let's look at these last two. And then it said, look, your servant has killed both lion and bear. And look, we know it was a bigger lion because he said he grabbed it by the beard. Young lions don't have beards. That's what he's saying. He grabbed this lion by the beard because it took his sheep. I'd have said, hey, we got more sheep. He said, hey, you'd have turned, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. That's what both of us would have did. But he said, no, man, y'all ain't about to do this to my sheep. This is what the Lord entrusted me with. There's a cause right now, so I need to go take care of this business. And this is why he knew he can handle this, and he knew the cause was right. Look what he said. And this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living God. So he's saying, man, this heathen is going down. I'm about to take this dude out. I'm getting rid of him. And then it says, verse 37, moreover, David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of the Philistine. So, man, whatever has happened in your past is probably for a reason. What you have been through in the past is probably for a good reason. And so look, and as Saul said to David, go and the Lord be with you. And so he's saying, all right, man, if you're saying that you can do this, we'll let you do it. Nobody else is willing to fight, we'll let you fight. So if you think this cause is worth dying for, then go for it. Go for it. But he knew in his heart of hearts the things he had been through in his past was going to take him through this thing also. And so that's what we have to realize with our lives, man. Everything that we go through is for a reason and a purpose. It's a cause for it. And we tend to get upset with things that happen in our life, but we're not looking like, man, maybe God is taking me through this for a reason. And it's a cause that I'm going through this. And it's going to put me into something great. So now when I get to where I need to, I'm not scared. See, now when I get to where I need to, I'm not talking about, oh, Lord, well, what do I do in this situation? He's like, man, this is in my way. I'm going through it. Because you took me through the lion, you took me through the bear, and now I got one more person to go through. That's what he's saying. So look at this right here. This is what I want to say. These are things that grow on that I usually like to give you every single week. But your cause now might not be your end cause. Because David, he's on the backside or in the field with the sheep, and he doesn't know why God has him there. He doesn't know why he's encountering the things that he's encountering. He doesn't know why the bear comes to attack him and the lion comes to attack. Because most of us would have been cursing the devil. Look what the devil is doing to me. I'm out here on the backside of the mountain and hell finds me back here too. But your cause now, it was for something greater that he was going to encounter. It was for something greater, take him to the next level that he had to go to. And then the second one. And this, we really need to get to this point too, because this is where we're at usually in life, is why is the drama if there is no cause? See, David went through those issues and those problems because it was a cause. See, God was testing him and trying to prove him to see what he was going to do. And so you have to have some drama in your life. I don't care who you are. We don't like the drama, but you're going to have some drama in your life if God is going to get you to where he needs to get you to. And I'm going to throw this in for free also with this. The drama usually is for you. See, one thing we tend to think in life is that when we're going through the drama, it's the other person. Oh, well, God, why are they doing that to me? Why are they acting like that? Or why is this happening? The drama is for you. See, David went through the drama not for his brothers and not for Saul and not for Samuel. The drama was for him so he can get to where he needed to be. And see, that's what we tend to think. We say, oh, Lord, well, I know you're doing this, but this person needs to be out of my way. No. God's working on you. See, God's working on you. See, it's never about the other person. And the quicker you learn that, and the quicker I've learned that, man, it's usually not them, it's me. Lord, why am I in this situation? All right, it's something that I need to get. It's something that I need to receive. It's something that I need to either teach this person, or it's something that God is working on the inside of me. It usually is. 9 times out of 10, every situation I face is usually about me. It's usually not the other person. I'm telling you, I'm being honest with you. Because God is growing me. He's testing me. He's pushing me to where he needs to get me to. And I think God does that for each and every one of us. But we get this mixed up, always thinking it's them. No, it's you. God's working on you. See, God's working some things out on you so you can get to the cause that he needs you to get to. See, this cause is just the beginning cause to get to your end cause. And I guarantee you, because that's the way this process works in life. And that's what I had. I'm sorry, I already talked about number 3, because God is usually working on you. That's my third point. I forgot I put it as number 3, but that's what this usually is. See, God worked. He did a good work on David. And see, David, this is why this is such a great story, because David got crowned king. He got crowned king and nothing ever happened. Some scholars say it took about 20 plus years for him to get to the kingship. So imagine you get crowned king, but you still go to the backside of the mountain to feed sheep again. So now you're back to work again. Be like, well, Lord, you just gave me this promotion. Now you still want me to clean the toilets at the job? You still got me vacuuming floors, Lord? You still got people walking over me? Say, no, man, I'm still working on you. See, I'm still working out some things on you. Because if you look at his brother said, man, he was full of pride and insolence. And usually your siblings know what you are. They do. If my sister came in, she could tell you some stuff about me. I wouldn't like it, but probably it's true. Because most times people, when they're mad, they're not usually lying on you. They are telling the truth. But it just comes out when they're upset. And so I don't think his brother was lying. And most of our siblings, they came in, they might tell a little differently than you would tell it, but it's usually partly true. So God was working out the pride in David. He knew he was a prideful man. And you saw that rear his ugly head when he got the man's husband killed. That was pride doing that. Like, man, you took this man's wife? It's crazy. So it was still some things God was trying to work out in David. And so what's my last one? This is what we always have to realize and always have to believe. Please believe this. How can you write a story with no drama? Just think about that. Just think about that. I was thinking about this this morning. I say, man, I understood why a lot of people don't like rich people. We always get upset with rich people and all this other stuff. And the reason why you usually don't like rich people is because you don't think they went through the drama that you have. But to be honest, why would you watch a movie if there wasn't no drama? You wouldn't watch it. If it's a movie with no drama, you wouldn't even watch the movie. That's why people love these crazy shows. What is it? Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives, The Bachelor. What was that one they used to do on Wednesday nights? Almost messed the churches up. It was Terrence Howard. What was that show? It was Terrence Howard and Taraji P. It was Empire, yeah. So people used to miss church on Wednesday. They almost ruined the church because they like that drama. See, so people don't want to admit it, but they do like the drama. And so when you actually truly look back on your life, you like, man, I went through this drama because now I can write a good story. You don't want no story that has a smooth sailing all the way through. You need some hiccups. You know, we think we want the sun all the time, but man, if we always had the sun, we'll be mad about that. Look at Jonah. He went through the hiccups that he went through, and then the people got saved, and he was mad that God saved them. Then he was upset that the sun was shining. He was upset about a lot of different things. But you need some of the drama in your life to push you where you need to go. Because if there wasn't a reason to move, then you probably wouldn't move. See, it has to be a cause why we get to where we need to go. Because a lot of people, adults are usually stupid. Most adults are stupid. Animals are smarter than adults. I'm being honest. Their little nature, they do everything like they need to do. They go to sleep when they need to go to sleep. They go do certain things. They don't even mess up. And so humans become so smart too, because I'm saying I've never seen a gay animal. See, we get so smart, we change up, a little bit. We change different things, but animals do the right thing. But we get so smart sometimes that we mess these things up. But we need some of these dramas in order to get to where we need to go. It's a wonderful thing to have some drama. If not, I probably wouldn't move sometimes myself. I wouldn't move sometimes. You're like, man, you in the sun, you go get out the sun when it's too hot. So I needed that sun to tell me to go on and move on to the next level. And that's the way God usually moves me. Because, well, now I'm a little more in tune with God, the way I move, and I don't need all the extra drama no more. But man, I used to have somebody hit me upside the head before I do anything. You almost got to lose everything before you move. You be like, all right, is that you, Lord? You be like, hey man, I've been telling you to go. And then next thing you know, you almost lose it all. You be like, oh yeah, well that was God. But human nature, man, once you really get in tune with God, you shouldn't have to get pushed that far for the cause. Hey, you should be like, all right, Lord, all right, I feel you. I think you're moving me. So here we go. But if we just all go look back at a lot of the reasons and the problems and the issues, that is what has got you right here, right now, to where you need to be. So we should thank God for everything. See, my man and Vince, we worked out yesterday together, and we were talking about, man, God actually used the bad things to push certain people to certain arenas, because it said God hardened Pharaoh's heart. So that was God using those things, those issues, and those problems to push people to where they needed to go to. You see that? And so that's the God that we trust and believe that is still working and maneuvering our lives the way he should. And the more we get in tune saying, Lord, I'm standing in need of prayer. I'm going through some issues, but I know all things are working together for my good. They're working together for my good, Lord. So I'm trusting and believing that this is the process that you want to take me through. But I look at my life. I'm from down there in New Orleans. And I still ask myself sometimes, how did I end up in Hendersonville, Tennessee? Sometimes I take my daughter to school, we driving past cow fields. It's farmland. I never thought I would end up in this arena. I never thought I would end up here. But for some reason, God caused the drama of Hurricane Katrina to get me here. To get me out of those situations that I was in, those issues and those problems that I was facing there. But really, now that I look at this, the reason and the cause for everything that I've been through has really been to meet you guys. It's been to meet you guys. It's been to build a ministry for God. It's been to help to try to change lives for the better. See, that's what this is for. And everybody has a different cause that they need to get to, but everybody has to get to their cause. You got to be like, man, I need to start moving, start operating, because time is short. Time is moving. Time is really, really going. But man, if you can really truly look at some of the places that God has taken you, some of the things that you've been through, that's exactly where he needs you and what he needs to use to get you where you need to go. So don't be upset because of the drama, because there's a cause. There's a cause for it. And there's a reason for it. Just like David here, he didn't know why he was feeding sheep. He didn't know why he was the last one to be born in his family. He didn't know why these things, but he did it gracefully and respectfully, and he did it with all his might. Man, on the backside of the mountain with sheep, taking out lions, taking out bears, and didn't tell nobody what he was doing, just letting God work on him. Letting God do his work because he knew it was a bigger cause. When we truly look at what happened here in the final parts of David, he built a great kingdom for God's people. That's exactly what he did. He built a great kingdom for God's people because of everything that he went through. So never discredit the process that God has you in. It's a great process. If you learn to respect the process, it's a great place to be.